River Jordan said, no, we can't cross over because there's a whole lot of stuff over there that's greater than we are. We should just hang out here for a while. And they spent 40 years in the wilderness till they all died off, till the second generation finally said, yes, we will cross over the River Jordan. And were led by Yahshua to cross over Yarden, that means to drag down. We trust in Yahshua. We trust in the redemption, deliverance, and restoration of Yahuwah to help us to transition from the things that drag us down to find ourselves. In the Torah it says that they went to Makom. It say they went to the other side. It says they went to Makom. They went to the place. Makom is one of the names of Yahuwah. He is the place. And through Yahshua we find ourselves within him. Hedge of protection, and we are his delight. So, this again we see comes through the Aleph and the Tav, the word of Yahweh, the Aleph and the Tav, or the Et. This is what leads us to the last word, which is, again, Terumah, meaning my offering. Now, we've voluntarily given our offering in the first part of this verse, but now Elohim, Yahweh as Elohim, is saying, I'm giving you my offering. And then we go on to these next several verses that we've kind of thrown together, some illustrations of what these offerings are. These offerings would be used to build a tabernacle. The tabernacle is a representation, according to the rabbis, of our body. That's why the heart is represented by the Mishkan. We bring a willingness to seek Yahweh Elohim to have life, and in doing so, Elohim speaks forth the following. Gold, the anointing of Yahweh. Silver, the redemption, deliverance, and restoration of Yahweh. Brass, the righteous judgment of Yahweh that also brings redemption, deliverance, and restoration. Blue, a representation of the Ruach of Yahweh Elohim. Purple, we have the royalty of Yahweh Elohim within us. Scarlet, we are redeemed by the blood of his Lamb against Betolaat, which is the oppressor, the worm. Talks about wormwood, and that's a different story. We'll talk about that another time. Fine linen, we are made white again. The word here is veshesh, that also means alabaster. And it was an alabaster jar of fine oil that was used to anoint Yahshua, and we too are anointed and made new by it. Ram skins dyed red. We are covered by a Redeemer, ram skins, whose blood has allowed us to re-enter into the continual presence of Yahuwah, who is our Elohim. All of this is contained within the manatee skin. We all say it's badger skins. There was actually an animal like the manatee that was there in the Mediterranean, and this is an unknown type animal, but they say it was like the manatee that they covered the outside of the tabernacle with. That the manatee skin represents us as flesh and blood beings. With these also comes oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense. In other words, the Ruach that allows us to see our way according to the instruction of Yahweh and allows us to communicate with our Elohim. Everybody's excited. They're seeing the end. Also, onyx stones and stones to be set for the ephod and for the breastplate. We become the representatives to humankind as his Kohanim, his teachers, and his ministers. It is in this that we find the final verses of tonight's Torah portion reaches its fruition. And let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. We build ourselves as the tabernacle for Elohim to dwell inside of us. We offer ourselves up. He's the one that brings the gold and the silver and all the good stuff. according to all that I show you, the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the furniture thereof, even so shall you make it. Where do we find the pattern of the furniture and the tabernacle and everything in order to make it? Find it within the Torah. We bring forth our offering to Elohim so that his spirit will take up residence in the tabernacle that we make ourselves to be. As we read in the last verse, or read in the last verse though, the tabernacle that we construct must be according to the instruction of Yahweh Elohim. So, a little study on worshiping in spirit and in truth. There is a verse, and I'm just going to be really brief because I know everybody's tired and ready, but probably one of the most abused verses ever. It's in 2 Corinthians 9, verse 7, if I can find it here. 2 Corinthians 9, 7. Did I... Huh? What? 2 Corinthians. 2 of them. He had a really big audience. There was only 2 of them. 2 Corinthians 9, 7. It says this, let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not of grief or of necessity, for Elohim loves a joyful giver.
You've got to just bring your tithes into the offerings. It doesn't make a difference if that's your rent money. Just pay it and be happy about it.
One of the most abused verses ever. We give to Elohim of ourselves, and from that we find joy. And we find the love of Elohim in that joy. We do it because we want to, not because we have to. That's what we were created to do. And with that, we'll say grooviness has been achieved. And